Welcome to Passionaire Magazine, the podcast where we talk about business, tech, food and travel, fashion, health and fitness, the arts and culture, where we want you to live your passion. Passionaire Magazine, the podcast. Welcome, Mahryah, to Passionaire Magazine, the podcast. I'm so excited to have you on. Now, before we get started talking about your success journey, can you tell us just a little bit about who you are? What makes you, you?
Well, my name's Mahryah. I live in Los Angeles. I've done many things in my life. I've played music. I've toured with bands. I've been in movies and TV shows as an actor, and I have a company now called More Hair Naturally, and I have a wife, kids, dogs, and I think that would sum me up.
I love it. I believe that every person has been called to purpose, that we have a something that we are supposed to do while we are upon this earth. And it definitely sounds like you are walking in your purpose. So let me ask you this question, and thank you so much for explaining the why. So let me ask you from a broader sense of or point of view, and that is, with your business, what is the overall goal? Who are you trying to help, or who do you want to assist most?
We're trying to change people's lives. We focus on thinning hair and hair loss because that's what we can focus on. But one thing that I firmly believe is that the physical affects the mental. You know, when people can say like, oh, you shouldn't be vain, you shouldn't have attention on how you look. And I disagree with that. I think you should never be a jerk. I think that's for sure. Because a lot of times when people say like, oh, don't be vain, don't focus on yourself, you shouldn't care about how you look, I think what they're trying to say is like, don't be a jerk, because a lot of times those two are associated. But yeah. I don't think they should be, because when you put on a great dress or that nice jacket and you look at yourself in the mirror, you're like, oh yeah, it's happening. You know, today's gonna be good. I got this handled. Or if you've been in the same sweats for all weekend, you know, that you slept in, and you're kind of like, oh, maybe I'll eat some chips today and watch TV, you know, and that's just the physical. That's just the physical affecting the mental. So with hair, since that's something that I can help, I know that has a strong effect for a lot of people, especially women. Unfortunately, society is a little unfair to women in this era, in this area than they are to men. And so that if I can offer a way for somebody to help themselves in an area that is causing them to introvert their attention on themselves, then that's really what I want to do. Because my goal is to have people stop thinking about themselves, to get their attention off themselves and put their attention out into the world. Because when your attention's out into the world, then you can change people's lives. You can walk into a room and people notice and they get brighter and they come up. Because we've all experienced that when somebody walks into the room and they're kind of like a beacon of light because they're just noticing and they're present, the whole room changes. And that's our goal, is to help people get there.
Absolutely. And I love that is your goal, because you're right. Anything that we can do to help boost someone's self-esteem, their self-confidence, for them to be able to walk boldly in that is always a plus. You are so right. And unfortunately, society does kind of treat women differently if they're experiencing thinning hair. Women some will even say, you know, I love a man with a bald head, you know, or there are some women who don't mind balding in general. I do agree with you there. I think there are some differences, but the fact that you and your company are allowing those who wish to make some changes that option, I love that you are doing that. Now, along your success journey, there have been so many nuggets of wisdom that I'm sure you have picked up along the way.
Mhm.
With that being said, what advice would you, the person you are today, give to the person you were when you first started your success journey?
Say yes. Say yes, and then take action.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and I'm still working on this too, because we, you know, we're smart. People are smart. Our souls are smart. We want to survive, and we intrinsically know how to survive. And a lot of times we get an inkling of something from somewhere in the universe. Something tells us, like whispers in your ear, and like a decision or an action or a thought. And
Mm-hmm.
90% of the time, we hear it and then we ignore it, or we hear it, we justify it away, we hear it, we don't act on it. But I do believe we always hear it. And because a lot of times it's scary. The following that whisper is scary, because it's not something you normally do or not something you think of doing, but it's always right. Like, and the best way I found to illustrate this, because everyone has experienced this one, back when we were in our dating days, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and you meet that really handsome guy, that beautiful woman, and you're dating, and you're looking for a spouse, you're looking for a future, you're looking for all that, and they're very appealing, you know, but something about them is just wrong, you know, and you hear it, you're like, I don't know, something's wrong, but they're
Mm.
interested in me and I'm interested in them, but something's wrong. But you go along with it anyways. And then like 5 months down the road, you're like, it's terrible. Like it's just taking a turn for the worst. And you're like, I knew it. I knew it. I
Right.
knew it day one. I knew
I
it.
knew it day one, right?
You know, we've all had that. And that
Mm-hmm.
phenomenon exists in all aspects of our lives. And I wish that I had, like back then, I wish I had listened to it more often.
Yeah, yeah. That intuition that we have, I know that different people call it different things. Intuition, a woman's intuition, listening to your gut, listening to your guides, whatever label you want to put on it. You are absolutely right. We all have it. And I think that if we do listen to that more, then we would be able to say yes
Mhm.
more often to those opportunities, instead of maybe um sometimes we sell ourselves short because we err too many times on the side of caution,
Mhm.
that we should kind of step out in those things that we know are correct and true. I love that. I love that point of view. Now, can you name a person, or does anyone in particular come to mind, that has had a tremendous impact on you as a leader? And how did this person make an impact on you? Now, they can be someone in your personal life, meaning like a friend, or someone in the industry, or it can be a celebrity whom you've never met, but their words or actions have guided you.
Um, I would say, well, I mean, I'm always like, it's my goal to be better than I was yesterday. That's
Mhm.
always my goal. It's like, how can I be better than I am yesterday? I'm constantly listening to audiobooks and reading books, listening to lectures, listening to podcasts, you know, constantly striving to find ways to make my life better. I did when I was just like, I was just coming out of school, and I was had always like enjoyed acting very much, and I met this acting teacher just kind of by fate,
Mhm.
who I would say she was like she was just a very strong woman, and she taught me a lot in terms of how important it is to believe in yourself. You know, she
Yeah.
was telling me a lot about how how important it is to have a point of view and keep it as yours and let people know that that's yours, but then be okay to change if you need to. But have a firm viewpoint, a firm stance, you know, and then be
Hmm.
able to like kind of change. And it kind of gave me more self-confidence, and it gave me a better output in terms of moving forward with decisions, you know,
Yeah.
the confidence and the ability to make a decision. Because the truth is, I mean, Roosevelt said, and it's a great quote about decisions. He said, the best choice you can make is the right choice. The next best choice you can make is the wrong choice. And the absolute worst thing you could do is nothing. But
Hmm.
I love that because he didn't call a bad choice a mistake. He said the second best thing you could do is the bad choice,
Hmm.
the bad decision. Because this is common sense decision. It's not about like, oh, I'm gonna run into traffic, you know. We're beyond that point here. You know,
Right.
but
Absolutely.
but his point was that the worst times that I've had in my life are times when I've been in a state of indecision,
Yeah.
you know. And so because that all the stress that I have, even today, when I have stress, I'm saying, okay, what part of my life am I not making a decision about? Because that stress is due to a feeling of not being in control, you know.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
being in control doesn't mean you have to, like, you know, hold everything together and steer everything together. It just means you have to make a choice about something. You know, there's a
Mhm.
decision not being made. And if you can find that and make a decision and then act on that decision,
Mhm.
it puts you back in control of your life in those areas. And even if it's the wrong choice, you can change. You know, you can make a wrong choice, go a week or two, or even sometimes longer, and realize, hey, that didn't work. Let me figure out either why it didn't work and pivot it,
Mhm.
or just make another choice. Or maybe down that road, you're going to meet somebody, or you're going to learn something that's going to branch off into a new direction that you would never have found had you not made that decision.
Mhm. Absolutely. And I find that many times those that are successful in whatever industry they are in, one of the nuggets of wisdom that they share is that, hey, I've made some mistakes in that
Mhm.
I've made some decisions that did not pan out the way that we wanted them to, meaning it was not a successful outcome, right?
Right.
However, we learned from that wrong decision how to do it right because we kept moving forward. We didn't take it as a loss, but we instead looked at it as this is information. This no was in fact the ultimate yes for them because they were able to cross a line through that option and keep moving forward until they found the one that worked for them. So I agree with you. I agree with you there. Now, when it comes to business itself, we find that many businesses, as they continue to grow, expand, become larger, be it that they are hiring more employees, they literally have more square footage, or perhaps they now have more locations around the world. How can an organization not lose their passion? How can they steer clear of dampening the fire that they once had that got them started in the first place? How do you keep that passion alive in your success walk?
You have to connect with your why. You
Mm-hmm.
just have to know why you're doing it. You have to connect to that. Otherwise you'll be miserable. Because there's a lot of stuff that, I mean, it's a lot of work. You know, I'm here 11,
Yeah.
12 hours a day, and I have two kids at home that I miss. I only get to see a couple hours a day, and on weekends I spend time with them. But it's like, you know, um, and so it's a lot of work. But you have to connect with why you're here. Like, I know that all this work I'm doing is changing people's lives. It's having an impact on the way people approach their day. I know that. So that's something that I can hold on to, because that makes me happy. That excites me. Coming
Yeah.
to the office and answering emails does not excite me. Or reading spreadsheets, not exciting.
Are
But
you serious? No, I'm playing with you.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, yeah.
But
It's
I
like,
love those people
what do
though.
you mean?
I need those people that love spreadsheets in my life. I
Right.
need them in my business.
Right.
But that's not me though.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not me as either. And it's really funny because um I was at a conference one day, and this goes along with what you're saying about how we need to have all types of people in our lives, but have an understanding of who we are. And I said, so many times as entrepreneurs, we're telling people, yes, step out into your entrepreneurial spirit, right? Be that entrepreneur. But I realized that we need people that are also aspiring to be employee of the month. We need that person who loves data, who loves research, who loves making those spreadsheets, who
Yeah.
wants to be that person to us or for us, or go along on that journey with us. So by no means are we saying that folks are not important. Everyone is important in the role that they play, and understanding where you fall in that definitely is on the right track. Because I
But
agree with you.
yeah.
We have those 12-hour days, not because we just love spending 12-hour days, but because we want to make sure that passion continues to move forward. Mm-hmm.
But even like the people, like the people that are super into numbers and super into analytics, like they're essential to the success of businesses. They're such an essential element. But even they have to know why they're doing it. Like
Yeah.
what are their dreams? What are their passions? Like they hopefully, like they align with mine. Like hopefully there's somebody here, they know that what they're doing is contributing to a bigger picture, and they know that what they're doing is helping other people succeed through life. They're helping people get their confidence back, people they don't even know, strangers in the world. They need to know that they're contributing to that impact that as a company we're striving to contribute to, because they are.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Absolutely, they are. They really and truly are. And I was very fortunate to work for a company before I started my own, that the majority of the people had been there since the very beginning. Now, I want to say that the company was around 15 years old at the time that I was there, and the majority of the people had been there since year 10, I'll say. I'm sorry, they had been there for 10 years.
Yeah.
So, the thing that I found to be true, and this ties into what you're saying, is that they were all moving towards that common goal, right?
Mhm.
They
Yeah.
they knew that they were this particular part of the wheel, that they were in charge of this slice of the pie, and they made sure that it was that everything worked well, that everything worked together, that everything was smooth sailing in
Mhm.
their department, so that all the other departments could do what they needed to do as well. And I
Right.
loved that camaraderie, that sense of togetherness in their culture of, though we may be one department, we are all working together. And I thought that was awesome. That was something that I took from that particular place and made it one of my own as well. All of my team members know, if one does well, we all do well.
It's
So
true.
I love that. So here's my last question for you, Mahryah, and that is, how do you use your voice for empowerment? What is one thing that you want to make sure that people are aware of?
Um, I'm really big on taking control of your life. I mean, that's really, because it's the actions that you take when you see something that you want changed about your life. You don't even have to hit that goal to have your confidence. You just have to start taking actions towards that goal. Like if you go to the gym, like when I go to the gym, and I'll work out for an hour, I come out with the same slightly flabby belly that I have, but I feel like, oh yeah, I'm ripped. You look at yourself in the mirror, it looks the same as it did an hour ago. You're like, yeah, this is happening. I look great. I'm ready, but you really didn't do much, but you did take that action.
Hmm.
Took that action, and that action alone gives you the self-confidence because you know that action is getting you closer to your goal. So
Yeah.
you're doing the right things. And just knowing that gives you power.
I love it. I love it. Mahryah Shain, thank you so much for spending some time with me here on Passionaire Magazine, the podcast. I definitely think that you have helped inspire someone today to continue to walk in their purpose and in their passion. Now, before I let you go, though, if you could tell us one more time, what is the name of your business? And if someone wanted to get in contact with you or reach out to you, what's the best way to do that?
Company is called More Hair Naturally, and they can go to our website, morehairnaturally.com. And at the top and the bottom of every page, there's phone numbers. So if somebody has like a concern about their hair, or they feel uncertain, or they have questions, they can just call. And we have a whole team here whose job it is just to talk to people. You don't have to buy anything. There's no obligation to purchase. But if you're worried, like, give us a call. Let's talk about your hair and figure out what's happening. Because maybe it's just like a diet change. Maybe there's something in your environment that you can easily switch up. Maybe it's something like
Mhm.
you just need a vitamin change. Maybe there's something easy, and
Right.
we can help point you in that direction.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. Thank you again, Mahryah, for
Mhm.
being a guest. Thank you for listening to Passionaire Magazine, the podcast.